Mrs. Gale, what are you doing?
Just doing a bit of dusting for Miss Mia.
Why are you doing dusting for me? Surely you should be dusting your own classroom. Have you seen it? It's a mess.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Right.
shall we crack on with the lesson?
Let's go.
We're going to revert back to maths, and we are going to be looking at some new learning to an extent, because we are going to be applying some skills that you've already learned to a new concept for lots of you. So welcome, hello, hopefully you're all safe and happy at home and you're getting on with the learning. And Mrs. Gale, are we ready to start?
Yeah, just a quick warm up. So, to begin with, just revision, using remainders if needed. So it's short
Did you
division.
add that number to this question?
Yeah, I don't know why I added that number. Anyway.
It looks very
I
disproportionate.
know. It does a bit. You might need to bring in a bit, Miss Mia.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not going to model anything here. This is literally just revision. So you've got some bronze questions here. You've gone moving on to silver. Gold here. Here are two calculation cards. A is this one, B is this one. Find the difference between A and B. So you'll need to calculate these first, and what is the difference between those two answers. Okay. Platinum here, I've got about a limousine company, allows 14 people per limousine. How many limousines needed to be hired for 230 people? So a little bit of long division there. So if you can't remember long division, go back to our previous video on long division and have a reminder of yourself.
I like that little link.
Yeah. Here, I've got some stars missing here. And you need to fill in what those stars should be.
Do you mean you've got some missing numbers covered by stars?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And the last
It's been a
one
long
here-
day, boys and
it
girls.
has. You've given this number sentence here. You've got to use this number sentence to complete the calculations below. And actually, you don't need to do long division here, long multiplication, or anything like that. You can use the information from here and see if you can see the links.
Okay, so Mrs. Gale's going to move out the way now, and you are going to be having a look at the questions. And please pause the video here. Daz, if by magic we are back, Mrs. Gale, show us the answers.
Okay, let's have a quick look here. So, first one here, we had is 23, number 2, 42 remainder 4, number 3, 77 remainder 6, number 4, 96 remainder 3. So at the top here we had our gold. So here were your answers. So you had to do 396 divided by 11, which gave you 36. 832 divided by 13 gave you 64. The difference, so when you calculate the difference of something, you subtract. So 64 minus 36 gives us a difference of 28.
And you
Okay?
always subtract from the biggest number, otherwise you'll have a negative answer.
Yeah. So here we've got 3 stars here. What was the value of this star? So we had it here. Something is a prime number, so this star was also a prime number. And your final answer was this number was 23. Okay. And down below here, I've got the platinum one, so I'm going back on myself. If it allowed 14 people per limousine, how many people would we need to, how many limousines needed hired? They would need 17. And the last part's here. Using this part, you can calculate here. Okay, so you had 3,363. And you'll notice here, because that's 95 is divided by 10 to get 9.5, then you divide your answer by 10.
As it becomes 10 times smaller.
It becomes 10 times smaller. So your answer, 33,630, then becomes 3,363 because you divided this number by 10.
Okay.
This one here.
You multiply it by 10 because the 354 has been multiplied by 10 and the 95 has remained the same. So the answer has to be multiplied by 10.
Yep. This one here, your final answer was 35.4, okay? And that's because you're looking at dividing here by 10. So if you look here at 33,630, you've divided this by 10. So 354 would be 35.4 because you're dividing it by 10.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Gale.
Yeah. Hello.
To calculate the mean of a set of data. Hold on, Mrs. Gale. We need to do an action for this. Go back to the previous slide. So, boys and girls, mean is mean because of 2 things. What are the 2 things?
Well, I'm just about to go into that into the lesson, Miss Mia.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
So you don't want
I'll
to-
let you get on. I'll let you get on.
Right. To be able to answer this question, she's so rubbish. We need to revise just one skill, okay? So don't worry about that question at the moment. So the term is to learn what the mean is and how to calculate it. So at this point here, we may well want to do a few
Sorry, boys and
actions.
girls.
Oh my goodness. So what is the mean? The mean is the average of a set of numbers. And to calculate the mean, you have to add up all the numbers, which is the sum of something, then divide by how many numbers there are, which is the count. That sounds quite complicated. It can be put into a formula. So the sum of all the numbers divided by the count. Okay.
Do you want to do that with me, Mrs. Gale? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
The sum of all the numbers divided by the count. Okay. I've also written that up on the side there, broken it down to a couple of steps here as well. And I've just put the mean is add all the numbers together divide your total by how many numbers you had to start. And I put that formula there as well because we need that throughout this lesson. So if you want to, you can jot that down on a piece of paper or that formula, or just jot down what you have to do to calculate the mean.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Coe.
So just watch me first. Let's have a look at a simple set of data and let's apply that formula. So here are three numbers, 7, 8, 3. Work out the mean of these three numbers. So first thing I have to do is sum of all the numbers. I have to add these numbers together. So I have to do 7 plus 8 plus 3. Now I tend to use my number bonds here.
I was just about to say the easiest way of doing this is finding your number bonds of 10. 7 add 3 equals 10. Add the 8 is 18.
Now that's the first step. I have to add all my numbers together.
Okay.
And the second step is divide by the count. Now what does that mean by the count? It means how many numbers did you have to start with?
Or how many pieces of data do you have to start with?
So I had 1, 2, 3, 3 numbers. So I would do 18 divided by 3. Okay, so how many 3s go into 18?
The answer is 6.
Thank you, Miss Mia. And your final answer would be 6 here. Okay, now it says 2 marks here. If you don't show any calculations and you jot in the wrong answer, you're going to get 0 marks. It's really, really important, doesn't matter what year you are, you write in your number sentences, even if you know what you're doing, in case you make an error here. So I've just put 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 18. 18 divided by 3 equals 6.
And this is really important as well. As you're going into secondary school, they will ask you to jot down all of your calculations. And it's really important you get into a good habit.
Right. So what I want you to do is that after this, I want you to pause this video, have a go at calculating the mean of these sets of numbers. So just pause the video. Maybe Miss Mia might want to bring it in a little bit.
No, it's all right.
Okay, so I'll just read it. Here are 3 numbers, 6, 9 and 6. Work out the mean of these numbers. So just pause the video, have a go.
I'm going to look at the first step, which is the sum of all numbers. So I know that I need to add all 3 digits together. So I'm going to write my calculation out. 6, add 9, add 6 equals. Now I'm going to double 6 because there's 2 6s there. So 6 add 6 is 12. 12 add 9. So 9 is really close to 10. So I can do 12 add 10 and then take away 1. 12 add 10 is 22. Take away 1 is 21. So it's a good strategy you can use in your head. And then I need to divide it by the count. So how many digits did I have to start with? Well, it tells you here, in fact, 3 numbers. That's a count. So my next number sentence is 21 divided by 3. And because I have a really awesome knowledge of times table, I know that that is 7. I haven't finished there because I need to write the answer in the answer box. And I can check my answer by using the inverse. 7 multiplied by 3 or vice versa will give me the answer of 21.
Well done, Mia. Miss
Well
Mia.
done, Mia. Oh, thanks, Gail.
Well done, Miss Mia. Really good calculations here. Now when you've known that skill there, what the mean is, we now need to apply it to this question. Now that was quite simple, this question before. It was nice because it was just 3 numbers and those numbers were all less than 10. Actually, we need to step it up to year 6 standard. So what would that look like in
Exactly
a
the
reasoning
same
paper?
concept there, right?
Exactly the same concept there. So at this point here, 7 children are measured their heights. So we've got Stefan, Lara, Olivia, Chen, Maria, Dev and Sarah.
Do you mean
and they've
Maria?
got whoever. They've got all their heights here in centimetres. What is the mean height of the children? Now the reason why in year 6 they give you so many different ones is because they're expecting you possibly to make a calculation, an error in your calculations. So I'm just going to come in quickly.
Oh, should I bring it in?
Yeah, because actually this part here I'm going to model on this whiteboard. Now you can see here there's a lot of 3-digit numbers, and in fact there's 7 because there's 7 children, 3-digit numbers. I have to add all of those numbers to calculate the mean and divide my answer by 7. Okay, I wouldn't do one giant column addition because I'm going to make an error. Okay,
It's a lot of carrying.
it's a lot of carrying. So what I tend to do is I tend to go in 2s and maybe in the occasional 3. Okay, and then I'll add my final answer together, and I'll cross off things as I go so I don't get confused and I don't add the same number twice.
Okay.
Okay, so you can have a look here of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with Stefan, and he
Makes
was
sense, he's the top one.
148, and Lara was 136.
Shall I read you some of the data?
Okay, no, it's okay for the moment. All right, so first of all, I'm going to do 8 plus 6. So in my head, so I just do this. I do 6 plus 6 gives me 12, plus on the 2 gives me 14. That's how I work it out.
Yep.
Okay, which gives me 14. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus the 3 gives me 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's 284. And I tend to encourage people, so they don't get muddled, just to cross those 2 off. Okay?
Good
so I've
idea.
done Stefan, I've done Lara, or you can tick it. All right? The next one I'm going to look at is Olivia and Chen.
I always also circle my total as well on the board.
That's a good idea.
So,
I'll do a different colour so it's quite clear.
So you know at the end which numbers to actually add.
Okay. So we then had Olivia. Go on, Miss Mia. Who was
141 and then 142. This is quite a simple calculation actually. So we know that 1 add 2 is 3, 4 add 4 is 8, and double 1 is 2.
Okay, so there's my final answer here.
And now I reckon, Mrs. Gale, you can probably add the last 3 together.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I'm just going to cut this off.
Do you mean you're going to cross it up?
Yeah.
Don't cut my board.
1, 2, I won't. So the last part here, if we're going to add 3-digit numbers together, that's absolutely fine, but we must be accurate with our calculations. We can't afford to make mistakes, particularly in year 6, of simple column addition.
Okay, 158, 149, 113. Now here, Mrs. Gale, I'll do 9 add 3, which is 12, and I'll do 12 add 8, which is 20.
Yep.
Okay. So 5 add 4 is 9, add the 1 is 10, add the 2 from the bottom is 12. And then we've got 3 hundreds there, add the 4th one, so it'll be 420.
Okay, so thanks, Miss Mia. Good mental maths.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I was just double checking, but yeah, you're all right. So I'm going to do it in a different colour now. So what I've done here, this is not the end of my adding though, because don't forget here, all I've done, I've added these 3 now. Now I've just added them in groups, so it's really, really important. And the next stage here is I add my totals together, okay? This is not the end of my calculation because I need my final answer, like what is the total of all of these children's heights added together. So I have here 284 plus 283, and it's why Miss Mia says it's a really good idea to circle them, plus 420.
Shall I help you out, Miss?
Come on then, Miss Mia.
So 4 add 3, add 0 is 7. 8 add 2 is 10, add the other 8 is 18. I always look for number ones, just like Mrs. Gale. 2 add 2 is 4, add the 4 is 8, add the 1 is 9.
Thank you, Miss Mia. So my total so far is 987. Now all these calculations and the real thing will be done in this box, okay? It's because it's a lot bigger. That isn't my answer though, because if I bring us back over here to what the mean actually is, don't forget I have to add all the numbers together, which I've done. I then have to divide your total by how many numbers you had to start with, okay? I haven't done that part yet, so I won't get the full 2 marks.
So you're talking about the count.
The count here. So how many children were there? I already know this from the information at the top. I can count it again, but they already tell me. There's 7 children. So my final answer here of 987.
You're going to use some short division, Mrs. Gale.
Yes, I am. So that's why you had to practice this at the beginning. 987 divided by 7, okay? So 7s into 9 goes 1, remainder 2. 7s into 28 goes 4, no remainder. 7 into 7 goes 1. So now I've got my final mean. So my final answer that I would put in that box there would be the mean, the average of all of these children is 141 centimetres. Okay?
And Mrs. Gale, just out of curiosity, why is the mean important?
The mean is important because if you had a range of a set of data, so for example, when I'm looking at pupils' arithmetic scores, I want to know what's the average in my class. So what are children actually getting in those scores? What's the average? What's most of those children getting? And the way I would work that out is I would add all their scores together and find out what the average is. Then if that average is about 30 out of 40, most of the children get 30. I want to get the average up to maybe a 35 or a 36. So actually, Year 6 teachers, we do a lot of data analysis, and actually the mean is a really useful skill.
Thank you, Mrs. Gale. It's good to know.
Good question.
I know, I'm just full of them today.
You are. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a go at showing me. Okay, so you can pause the video when you see the data. I want you to do exactly the same. I've just changed the heights of these children. The same thing. Add all the numbers together and divide your total. And I'll reveal the answer in a couple of minutes. So have a look here. Miss Mia might come a little bit closer. You can pause it. So again, there's 7 children. This is the original SATs question. And here is your data. So can you find the mean of that set of data? Off you go.
Okay, we are not going to model this. We are just going to show you the answer. So the answer you should have calculated is 145 centimetres. We also have an extension down here. So those of you who were eagle-eyed would have seen it before. 4 cards, write a number on the 4th card to make the mean average of 14.5. And it gives you 12, 14, 17. So we add all 4 numbers together and divide it by 4. you should have an answer of 14.5. So what is the missing number? Again, you can pause it here. And it says here, can you find 4 different numbers? That would give you a mean as well. So Mrs. Gale, what is the answer for this?
The final answer here, it was 15.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So at this point here, you can either choose to go onto the school website and have a look at the mean work, okay, what we've left there for you. Or if you think you want a little bit more of a challenge, let's have a look at taking it a step further. So this would be more like a gold piece of work. So if Miss Bailey brings the camera angle over here, that would be great. So this is
You're just loving the camera at the moment, aren't you?
So this is gold. I'm moving our learning on. 2 numbers have a mean of 12. So actually, what information am I having here? They're telling me that I've got 2 numbers and they've got a mean of 12. So my answer is 12. One of the numbers is 9. What is the other number? Okay, that's what they're asking me. They're not asking me to calculate the mean. They're asking me to think about what the other number is. Now, for this part here, I'm going to model it. I know that for the mean, I have to add my numbers first. And they're telling me there's 2 numbers. So therefore, they have to be added first. Now also, I know with the mean as mean, because you have to do 2 things. You have to add your numbers and divide by the count. How many numbers are there? And they're telling me that my answer is 12. Okay. Now they already give me information from this question. One of these numbers is 9. Okay. So actually, one of these numbers here is 9. Doesn't really matter where I put that. I can actually already answer this because what am I going to divide the count by? Well, 2, because there's 2 numbers. So therefore, I must divide it by 2. Now I've got this information, I can use the inverse, working from my answer backwards to get my answer here, which this is what they want us to know.
Very nice, Mrs. Gale.
Thank you. So instead of dividing by 2, I'm going to multiply by 2. Instead of plussing 9, I'm going to minus 9. Okay? And I'm going to start from 12. So I'll write the number of sentences underneath so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to do 12 times 2. So double 12 gives me 24. Okay? I then start from that 24. And instead of adding 9, I'm going to minus 9. And 24 minus 9, well, if I do 24 minus 10, and then add that one, 24 minus 10 gives me 14. Add that one on, which gives me 15.
Okay.
So my final answer is 15. Okay. Now I can just double check that by actually working it through. 15 plus 9, okay, so 15 plus 10 would give me 25, minus 1 would give me 24. 24 divided by 2 gives me 12. So my missing number here, what is the other number, is going to be 15.
Good work, Mrs. Gale.
Okay, thank you, Miss Mia. So if you want a little bit more of a challenge, that would be kind of looking at the gold work and actually stepping it up a little bit. So you have to use your knowledge of the mean and then apply it, do some problem solving.
But I'd start off with the bronze and then work your way through either way, just so you got that fluidity and the skills there. Okay. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening very carefully. Hopefully you found that useful and you'll be calculating the mean as soon as you finish watching this video. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.